Okay. Hi, my name is Sonia Marushka. I'm a junior at Bend Academy. Could you please give me a little bit about your background and career?
Yes, so I'm Jennifer Dunn. I'm an associate professor at Northwestern University in the Chemical and Biological Engineering departments. I have my bachelor's degree in chemical engineering from Purdue University and my PhD from the University of Michigan. And so after I finished my PhD at Michigan, I really wanted to come back to the Chicago area. That's where my family's from. And so my husband and I moved here. And since then, I've worked in a number of positions in governments, in consulting, and also for the longest time before I came to Northwestern, the other sort of longer career stop I had was at Argonne National Laboratory.
Oh, wow. Okay. So my second question is, could you give me the ethical imperative for all of us to make the world more sustainable?
Yes, the implications of having environmental damage are very, very significant. And in a way, through our mismanagement of the environment, through allowing it to become degraded, we're doing a severe disservice to those who come after us. And even in the generation immediately following ours. So I have two children, and I'm mindful that they will need to deal with the impacts of climate change, but also plastic pollution and other types of environmental challenges that have been around for a long time, but are really, in some ways, becoming much more prominent now. So one example is climate change. There are currently wildfires raging across the state of New Mexico. Wildfires are no longer uncommon. In fact, they are pretty common in places like California, where we do have family, including one of my nephews who lives there. And so these types of disasters are going to become increasingly common and really affect people to the point where some areas of the globe will really no longer be habitable. And so effectively, we and those who've come before us have in some ways almost like stolen land and other resources from generations to come. So even though it's hard, we should try and work towards addressing these issues, making things better.
Right, of course. My third question is, what could students like me do to help with the sustainability efforts?
I think the most important thing for students currently in high school, I think there are actually three things. One is to really educate yourself about what causes environmental degradation, what causes climate change, what are the major greenhouse gas emitters. And then a second thing that you can do is think about how do you want to contribute to a solution through your life's work. Would that be as a scientist or an engineer developing technologies that can help either be lower emitting, or even now we're talking about pulling things like carbon dioxide from the air and sequestering it. So we will need lots of science and engineering to make that a reality. Do you want to be a policymaker and think about how to redesign society so that we value sustaining the environment in a way that changes our actions on a large scale? Individual action is great, but we need sort of big time drivers like policy change to really make a difference. And the third is to understand which issues are important to you and find a community to act on those issues, whether that's through becoming involved in public policy in those discussions, or whether it's in informing people on how to perhaps eat less meat or use public transportation, or whatever the issue is, becoming actively involved in that and inspiring many others to be active in this area, I think is important.
Absolutely. My last question is, do you have any advice that you could give to young aspiring women like myself who might want to follow in your footsteps one day?
Yes, I think, again, the most important thing is to pursue the best education in your chosen area, whether that's engineering, science, policy, law, whatever it may be. Pursue that education with all that you've got. So of course, I'm kind of biased towards education being now in the education field, but I have a high schooler myself, and I see all the potential out there for him. And so working hard at school is just super important. And then also talking to other people who are in careers that you might want to pursue, so that you know what it takes, whether it's a certain educational path, internships, talking with people is always good. It's not something that really comes naturally to me, especially when I was younger. I've gotten better at it. And amusingly, my son was advised to network at an event he was recently at, and he thought that that meant basically things to do with computers. But I would explain, no, like go talk to people. And he was at a robotics tournament and their coach encouraged him to just go take selfies with people. I thought that was great practice, just to be comfortable talking to people you don't know, asking them questions, and then they become part of your network. That's really important.
Yeah. Okay, well, that is super helpful. Thank you so much again for taking time out of your day to do this interview with me. And those are all the questions I have for you.
Wonderful. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Ms. Dunn.
Bye.